When do you ever get bored or feel headed towards me for making you write my notes all the time? He asked, plopping down beside you on the couch. Of course not, Jungkook. I'm happy to help you out. Besides, it's not like I have anything better to do with my time. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. You're a lifesaver, Ryan. As we sat there surrounded by scattered notes and textbooks, I couldn't help but feel a flutter in my chest. I had been in love with Jungkook for what felt like an eternity, but I had never mustered the courage to tell him. Just then his phone rang and he answered with a cheerful Anya. I always do and still think how amazing he was. The way he moved his hands, the way his hair fell on his forehead, the way his eyes sprinkled when he smiled, everything about him was so captivating. As I sat there completely fascinated by Jungkook, my heart started beating faster. Why did I have to be in love with my best friend? It just wasn't fair. He kept talking, not realizing that I was admiring him. I tried to concentrate on my notes, but my eyes kept going back to him. The way he laughed, the way he nodded his head, the way he confidently said yes. I was so lost in my admiration that I didn't even notice when he ended the call and looked at me with a curious expression. Why, what's wrong? He was staring at me like I had grown another head or something. I felt my face flush with embarrassment as I quickly looked away trying to play it cool. Nothing, I was just thinking about my knots. Your knots, huh? You're staring at me with such intensity, I thought you were trying to read my mind or something. I laughed nervously, trying to deflect his attention. Yeah, maybe I was just trying to figure out what's going on in that head of yours. He chuckled and shook his head. You know me too well, Ryan, but seriously, what's up? You can tell me. I didn't know how to answer. I wanted to tell him how I felt, but I was scared it would ruin our friendship. So I did what I always did. I brushed it off as a joke. Just worried about your sanity, that's all. My sanity is just fine, thanks for asking, but just as what I was about to say something else, my mom came into my room with a smile. Why, I just got a call from your aunt. Yuna will be arriving at the train station soon. Can you go pick her up? I was a bit disappointed that our conversation was interrupted, but I knew I had to do what my mom asked. Yeah, okay, I'll go get her. I'll come with you. I hesitated for a moment, unsure if I wanted Jungkook to tag along, but that's a great idea, Jungkook. You can keep mine company and maybe even drive her crazy like you always do. I felt embarrassed and gave my mom a frown, but she acted like she didn't know about my feelings for Jungkook. I groaned inwardly, feeling like my mom was treating me like a child, but at the same time, I knew she was just trying to push my buttons to get me admit my feelings for Jungkook. But I'm not ready yet. Do you have a cousin? You didn't tell me. Yuna, really outgoing and friendly. We are not really close though. She's more like a distant cousin. We only see each other at family gatherings. I said, trying to make her seem less impressive. Whoa, I didn't know that. What's she like? She is just really confident and charming, okay? Right then the train arrived at the station and we saw Yuna getting off. She looked even more beautiful than I remembered with a big smile and a flirty look in her eyes. Hey, cuz, I have missed you so much. She said excitedly, coming over to hug me tightly. We hugged her back, feeling a bit worried. Yuna was really good at flirting and I know she had a reputation for breaking hearts. I just hope, and I don't want Jungle fall for her tricks. As we walked out of the train station together, Yuna immediately started talking to Jungkook and flirting with him effortlessly. She laughed at his jokes, touched his arm, and batted her eyelashes at him. I felt uncomfortable, like I was losing control of the situation. Yuna, stop flirting with him. I whispered to her, trying to step in, but she just winked at me, looking mischievous. Chao didn't notice the awkwardness and smile that Yuna clearly attracted to her. I felt really sad thinking that maybe I made a big mistake by introducing them. Shuna and I were sitting in the living room eating snacks and talking. She was texting someone on her phone and laughing. I thought she was talking to a guy she liked, but I didn't think much of it. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I went to answer it, thinking it was a delivery. But to my surprise, it was Jungkook. Luna looked really happy when she saw him and quickly put her phone away. Hey Jungkook, what brings you here? Jungkook smiled and sat down next to her. I just wanted to drop by and say hi. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Luna moved closer to him and they started laughing, talking like they were all friends. I felt uncomfortable watching them like I was losing control of the situation again. At the same time, Luna's phone got a text but she ignored it and focused on Jungkook. I wondered who was texting her and if she was going to get in trouble again. While they talked, Yuna playfully touched Jungkook's arm and laughed at something he said. I felt worried because Yuna was flirting with him a lot, and Jungkook didn't seem to realize what she was really like and enjoy the attention. I sighed to myself, wondering how could I get out of the situation. Are you mad, Yuna? You were here for semester break and now you're transferring to a college. What's wrong with you? Yuna's smile seemed to forced. I know her well enough to know that she was hiding something. I know it's because of Jungkook, right? You're transferring here because of him. Yuna's eyes looked amused, but I could see the girl behind them. She didn't deny it, and it made me feel really sad. I'm scared, worried. I had feelings for Jungkook, feelings I hadn't confessed yet. And now Yuna, who was flirty and didn't care about consequences, was coming to a college with a clear intention of pursuing him. I tried to ignore the jealousy and possessiveness I felt, but it was really difficult, especially when I saw the way Yuna looked at Jungkook with a strong desire that made my heart hurt. I was scared to tell Jungkook that I liked him because I didn't want to ruin our friendship or be rejected. But that I see Yuna showing interest in him, I realized I couldn't wait any longer. If I didn't tell Jungkook soon, I might lose him to my own cousin. It's time I have to tell him how I feel. No matter how scary it is, I'll do it. I'll tell him no matter what happens. You have been staring at me for a while now. What do you want to say? I started to feel nervous. Are you in a hurry? Seems like you don't have time to wait for me. No, it's not like that. I also have something to tell you. I'm waiting for you to go first and then I'll share my news. Can you tell me first? I want to hear what you have to say. He took a deep breath, looking at me with a serious expression. Okay, I have wanted to tell you this for a while now. I have strong feelings for someone who's been on my mind all the time. My heart skipped a beat thinking that he might be talking about me. I had always been willing to do anything for him to prioritize his happiness over mine. I had loved him from a distance, never daring to hope that he might feel the same way. But then he dropped the bombshell. Shura, I think I'm in love with her. My heart shattered into a million pieces, the words feeling like knife twisting in my chest. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Chung, the guy I had feelings for, was confessing his love for my own cousin. I felt like I was losing him, like everything I had ever wanted was slipping through my fingers. I felt really hurt, like someone had hit me hard in the stomach and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk or think. I just sat there shocked and heartbroken. Jango kept looking at me, trying to see how I would react. But I couldn't react because I was too busy trying to fix my broken heart. Why? I finally managed to say, but my voice was very quiet. The smile disappeared and he looked down at the ground. I don't know. I just feel a connection with her. We get along well, you know. Get along? They get along? I wanted to scream. There was someone who got along with him, who connected with him on every level. And he didn't see it. He didn't feel it. I looked into his eyes and saw a bit of sadness. He wanted me to be happy for him and share his excitement, but when he saw my reaction, he looked disappointed. That's when I knew I couldn't take it. I couldn't bear to see him sad because of me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I hid my pain behind a fake smile. I made myself smile, pretending that everything was fine. And as I did, I noticed the sadness in his eyes disappear. I'm really happy for you. Yuna is great. You two will be a wonderful couple. Thank you so much, Ryan. I kept smiling even though my heart was breaking inside. I couldn't let him see the truth, that I was hurting and felt like I was losing him forever. I walked into the room and shook off the rain from my hair and clothes. Yuna noticed my wet appearance and looked worried as she put her book down and got up from the couch. Why are you walking in the rain? I didn't mean to. I just needed to get away from there. Yuna frowned, but she didn't ask any more questions. Instead, she gave me a towel from the closet. I took the towel and felt a lump in my throat as I wiped my face and hair. The towel's warmth brought me some comfort, even though it was small. I looked up at Yuna's eyes and we stared at each other for a minute. Shuna, do you love Jungkook? Let me tell you something. What do you mean? I took a deep breath, trying not to cry. He told me he has feelings for you, and I saw the way he looks at you, and I know he loves you. She stayed quiet for a moment and then looked up. Yes, he loves me, he told me. Hearing this made me feel sad and longing. I had expected her to say that, but it still hurt. What did you say to him in return? I told him I love him too. My heart skipped a beat. Of course, she flirts with him also with other boys, but I didn't expect her to say that. I mean, what's not to like about him? He's good looking, charming, and has great fashion sense. Have you seen his hair? It's always looked perfectly messy. I roll my eyes trying to hide my hurt. And he's so smart. He's going to be the boss of his company in the future. Can you imagine how secure and stable that would be? I couldn't handle it anymore. It felt like torture to listen to all the reasons why Jungkook was perfect for Yuna. I can't deny anything you said about him. He's perfect in every way, but he's also innocent, Yuna. He doesn't deserve to be hurt. I'm not going to hurt him. I took a step closer to her with burning eyes. But you are. You are playing with his life, Yuna, who loves you truly. This is not what I did with other boys. I really love him, and I won't hurt him like I did with others. What do you mean? She looked away with a guilty face. I've played with guys' emotions before, but it's different with Shao. I promise I won't hurt him. I dare you. I turned and walked away with a heavy heart. I couldn't bear the thought of Luna and Jungkook together. I loved him, but he loved her, my own cousin, and she loved him too. I walked away crying and feeling completely broken. I knew I had to move on, but it was difficult, very difficult. Years passed like a blur, like a never-ending cycle of pain and heartache. Yuna and Jungkook's relationship blossomed and they became inseparable. They were the picture-perfect couple, or so it seemed. Their marriage was a grand affair with friends and family gathering to witness their union. I was there too, forced to smile and congratulate them all the while dying inside. At first, their marriage seemed perfect. They were deeply in love, and their social media posts were filled with sweet nothings and romantic getaways. But as the months went by, Yuna's true character began to surface. She began treating Shahuk in a manipulative and controlling way, just like she had done with other boys before. She would get angry easily, ask for unreasonable things, and always doubt his loyalty. Jungkook put up with a lot because he loved Yuna. He dealt with her tantrums, constant questioning, and spending too much money. He made excuses for her, thinking she would change and become the partner he deserved. But one thing made him really angry: betrayal. And that's exactly what happened when he came home and found Yuna with one of his exes doing things they shouldn't have been doing in their apartment. Seeing that made him really mad. He felt like his whole world was turned upside down. He slapped Yuna, which he had never done before and never thought he would do. She couldn't handle the guilt of what she did. She couldn't face Jungkook's anger and disappointment. Feeling desperate, she took a drastic step and ended her own life because she couldn't handle the shame and guilt anymore. But Yuna's parents accused Jungkook of hurting her so much that she took her own life. All the evidence seemed to show that he was guilty and he was taken away in handcuffs, almost certain of his punishment. I couldn't believe that it had to come to this. Jungkook, who was always kind and gentle, locked up for a crime he didn't do. The thought of him suffering in that cold and unforgiving place was too much. But today, after many difficult months, Jungkook was finally being set free. I had been eagerly waiting for this day, and now that it had arrived. The gates opened and Jungkook came out. I could see how vulnerable he is. He took a step towards me and then another until he was right in front of me. Without saying anything, he hugged me tightly. I could feel his body shaking and his tears soaked into my shoulders as he finally let himself cry. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that my life has been so unlucky. It's not my fault that Yuna died. It's not my fault that I went to prison. I held him tightly, trying to give him some comfort. He held on to me tightly, with his fingers digging into my back like he was scared to let go. No, Jungkook, it's not your fault. You didn't deserve any of this. You're a good person and you have had a tough time, but you're strong, right? We can get through this. He started crying heavily. I knew that he needed this, that he needed to let go of all the pain and guilt he had been carrying for a long time. I was sitting on the couch going through some papers from work when my mom interrupted me. How long will you live like this? You're getting older, not younger. Now that everything has turned out like this, what about considering junk? Mom, don't even go there. I don't want to go back down that road. I'm trying to move on. You still love him, don't you? So what if I do? Let me be, Mom. I'm happy with my life the way it is. Even if I still love him, I won't go to him saying that. I won't put myself out there again only to be rejected or worse pity. But why not, dear? You two have been through so much together. I took a deep breath trying to explain. Because, Mom, even if you fail to see my heart, I won't stop being his good friend. I'll always be there for him like I've always been. But romantically, I need to protect myself. I need to move on, even if it's just in my heart. I don't want him to know that I love him. Then, now, and forever. But on the other side of the door, Jungkook had heard everything. Your confession, your decision to move on, your determination to protect yourself. Tears were running down his face as he stood there thinking about what had happened and feeling sorry. He finally understood that you loved him, but he only saw you as a friend. You realized he didn't realize how much you cared about him. He is now in a pool of sorrow, knowing that he had never felt the same way. He wished he could have seen you in a different light, wished he could have loved you back. But it was too late now. As he stood there frozen in the doorway, he knew he couldn't turn back time. All he could do was to hold on to the pain, the regret, and the longing for what could never be. He whispered a silent apology, hoping somehow you would hear it in your heart. And with that, he turned and walked away, leaving behind the what ifs, the maybes, and the could haves. His heart ached, knowing he might never find his way back to you again.